because I had a fiercely independent streak, I went to work right away. I waited tables, I sold shoes, I worked as an administrative assistant. I didn't enjoy any of those things at all, but I did what I had to do. When I was 21, my own daughter was born. I have one, she's 15. I was married at the time, so I stayed home to raise her while my husband worked.
Right.
And when she was old enough for daycare, rather than return immediately to the low-wage workforce, I decided to go back to school. And I did that. I got my GED, I enrolled as a student at County College of Morris, earned my associate's degree while I was there, discovered that I had a real passion and aptitude for academics and the arts, so I ended up going on to get my bachelor's degree at Boston College. I had no idea really where I was headed, but I did have an idea that it would be better than where I came from. As an undergraduate with few resources, putting myself through, first in the family to go, I took out loans thinking that that was going to be an investment in my future, and for a little while it actually did work. I ended up going to graduate school on a full scholarship. I got my master's degree. But just as I was about to reach the finish line, and it was teaching at a university, just getting my start, the economy fell apart. And essentially, the rug was really just pulled out from underneath me and my family. The university I was working for lost a ton of its endowment. I got laid off and thrown into the worst job market in my life and in my parents' lifetime. For a year, I just sent, well, a year and a half actually, I just sent resumes everywhere. You know, I just looked everywhere. And a lot of the time I was just getting a kind of void. You know, nobody was answering, or if they were answering, they were saying, your resume is great, but we've had hundreds of qualified applicants. So I'm here today because while I am not perfect, I tried to pull myself up by those bootstraps that I've been hearing about my entire life. And I'm here because some people in this country, not satisfied with owning nearly everything, have decided they want the bootstraps too. I'm here because there are millions of people like me, ordinary people who for the last 30 years have worked harder and harder for less and less, all while repeatedly being told that they live in the greatest nation on earth. Let me tell you something. Right now, 42% of American children live in or near poverty. 42%. And that includes my child. I'm here because in the midst of this great lie that the status quo is the best and the only way to organize ourselves as a society, in the name of perpetuating that system, which we have seen create widespread poverty and suffering, among other wrongs, we have waged unjust and expensive wars. We've been browbeat into rolling back collective bargaining rights. We've failed to act when action was absolutely necessary to protect the environment that sustains us. We've watched our political system descend into orgies of campaign spending and power struggles that pit one elite party against the other elite party while making most of us mere spectators. And the list goes on and on. I'm here because I believe we can do better than this. I'm here because I know that President Lincoln did not free our African American brothers and sisters from the bonds of slavery. The abolitionists did that. I'm here because President Wilson didn't give women the right to vote. The suffragettes did it. I'm here because President Roosevelt didn't create things like minimum wage and weekends. That was started by the Lowell Mill girls and carried forward by organized labor. I'm here because President Johnson didn't end Jim Crow, the Freedom Riders, and other activists put everything, absolutely everything, on the line for what they knew was right. I'm here because President Nixon didn't give us cleaner air or water, the environmentalists did. I'm here because President Ford didn't end the war in Vietnam. Students and peace activists brought our troops home. I'm here because I understand President Obama is not going to fix the social and economic and environmental disasters our country has continued to suffer under the existing power structure. But I do believe that if we, the people, stand up and stand together and stand proud, we can fix it. Now is really the time for a great democratic awakening. We're gathered today here in this small town in the northwest corner of New Jersey, but we are not alone. By now, we are all aware of the month-long occupation going on Wall Street? On the night of September 17th, I couldn't afford to buy myself a lobbyist or to buy a television ad, but I could lay my body down on the cold concrete with my brothers and sisters to secure a public space to discuss these things and to plan a real way forward. And look how far we've come already. As of this morning, there were solidarity events, rallies, demonstrations, occupations planned for October 15th, 2011 in 1,748 cities and towns around the world. Today, we are part of what one person anonymously described as the greatest uprising of a generation. Now is our time. Ordinary people, regardless of the conflicts that our governments have created with one another, are out in the streets today expressing unity with one another and demanding truly democratic control over our lives.